All right, here we are, Sports Fit Betting Insight today. Pauly and Teddy, Monday, October 2nd. Deep dive college football, Monday Night Football preview coming up. We are here. I can't believe we're doing a show, but in any event, it's the deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history, as what happened late last night in Las Vegas. It's as we tape this, it's 50 dead and 406 wounded, Teddy. Those numbers are going to go up. A horrific. You were still up? I mean, I was sleeping because I had to get up and go to work. You were up the whole night.
Yeah, I couldn't sleep, obviously. I shaved for the show, and, we debated, are we going to do a show today or not? The answer is yes, we are going to do a show today. The show must go on. Of course, given the events that happened last night, I know that we want to put up something here. American Red Cross, they're short on blood. If you have a chance today, please donate blood. Thanks for all your well wishes out there. Paulie and I are fine, although it's a pretty rough day here in Las Vegas.
All right, on to what we do. Bad beats, bad bets, bad for the books. You had Dog Day afternoon, Teddy, as you called it. Good line as you see the early games where it was 7 dogs outright and more big upsets continue and the Panthers lead the way as that New England defense is horrible, giving up over 7 yards per play.
Yeah, in terms of the results from yesterday in the NFL, nothing with the over-under, 7 over, 7 unders. The Dogs cashed 9 out of 14 tickets after the Seahawks covered on Sunday night. 7 outright upsets. Let's show the money line tickets that cashed, including the Panthers at plus 400, the Bills at plus 330, much to my chagrin, and the LA Rams at plus 210. Here's a tweet from David Payne Purdom, who always tweets very well about Las Vegas and what's going on in the betting world. Las Vegas sportsbook operator CG Technology took a $2,000 two-team money line bet in the Panthers and Bills. The bet paid $42,000 per Jason Symbol. So it's, we talk about the money lines. We talk about the money line parlays with the dogs. Another example on Sunday of how you could have made money betting something.
All right, bad bets. I'm winner play of the day winner with the Saints. That was low as 1.5 up to 4. But anyway, bad bets. The total in that game was bet up from 49 to 52. You knew you were golden after the first possession. An 8-minute drive, and Cutler gets picked. An 8-minute drive to start with 0 points. You had Patriots money, Vikings money, Titans money, and Colts money, all up in flames.
Yeah, no shortage of bad bets. And it was a Sunday with no bad beats. So let's give credit for that. We're going to talk about the favorites that cashed in a minute because we talk about the 5 favorites that cashed. 4 of them probably the worst 4 favorites the sportsbook would hope for. But certainly from the bad bets, whenever you have an 8-minute drive and it ends up with 0 points or a field goal, with the Steelers open with that long field goal drive in their game against Baltimore, you're screwed right from the get-go. New England's defense. Let's talk about New England's defense. All right. How about the tweet from Adam Kilgore? Quarterbacks have gained 9.4 yards per attempt against the Patriots. That would have led the NFL every season since 2000. New England's pass defense, not just bad, it made Carolina's offense look good. That's certainly a problem that Bill Belichick will have to correct. Although we remember it was after week 4 when they got blown out in Kansas City, 41-14, and we all said, they're done. And they went on to win every game the rest of the way. So Patriots have had their share of slow starts, but certainly the money on New England yesterday, bad bet.
They're lucky they're not 0-4 because Brady's got 10 touchdowns, no interceptions, and 1,400 yards. He's the reason they're 2-2. Bad for the Bucs. Saints open 1.5, bet up to 4. Easy win against the Dolphins. Rams money, avalanche of Rams money. Open 8, closed 5.5. The total was pushed up big time, 46-51. That was easy too. Rams win 35-30. Steelers money, not a good result for the Bucs, as that went past the key number of 3. There was a lot of Giants money. You got lucky there. Folk missed 2 field goals and an extra point, and then the Broncos. You were lucky with that bet too, as the back door was wide open. Manuel actually came in and played well in relief of Carr, who left with an injury. 16-10 Denver wins.
Yeah, and when you talk about the favorites that covered in Sunday's action, the Saints covering. Really bad for the books. Nothing but New Orleans money in that ballgame. The Steelers covering. Huge move on Pittsburgh. The wise guys, the public, all over Pittsburgh. The Bengals, same story. Sharps and squares betting the same side. An easy win and cover. Denver wasn't a square play, but certainly the Sharps were all over the Broncos. And that one wasn't necessarily they were the right side, but they got there and held on for the cover. So even on a dog day afternoon, the favorites that did cash weren't real good for the books. Although the one favorite that the fifth favorite, as you mentioned, the Colts, certainly a bad bet on Sunday. Went into halftime with the lead. All it did was wake up a sleeping Seahawks squad. Lots of Indy money. They were the most popular underdog on the board. And those public underdogs, they don't tend to do very well, Pauly. Certainly not when it comes to single event TV games. Colts went down in flames. That was a bad bet.
All right, pros against Joes. Pros did well again, 4-1. The one loser, I couldn't believe the Charger money. It is some Eagle players said it after the game, and they're right. Chargers are playing 16 road games, okay? It was all Philadelphia fans. There's empty seats everywhere. It's a disaster. Chargers 0-4. No home support. They can't be favored at home because there is no such thing as a home field advantage.
Yeah, and that's, again, the markets are always going to automatically price some semblance of a home field in because that's what markets do. If you've watched the Chargers play in all three of their home games, the crowd support for the visitor has been greater than the crowd support for the home team. They're not drawing any fans. And StubHub with, 27,000 seats? They're putting banners over it because they couldn't sell them out. But you talk about the pros versus Joes, again, 3 weeks in a row. We didn't do it week one. We've been doing this every Friday here on SportsBit. The pros, 4-1, 4-1, 4-1, the first 3 weeks that we've done it. The Joes, well, take a look. They won with the Saints. They won with the Bengals, lost with the Jags, Patriots, and Colts. That 2-3 mark is the best mark in any week that the Joes have had this season. Be sure to tune in again on Friday, this Friday, to SportsBit. We'll do pros versus Joes. And again, there's no science to it. It's me and Paul. Go, all right, let's take a look at some numbers. It's art. But the art so far working out well in figuring out where the sharp money and where the recreational money is going. The sharp money has been winning so far this NFL football season.
Up next, Monday Night Football. Chiefs and the Redskins in the deep dive. Another wild weekend in college football. Bad beats, bad bets, bad for the book. Straight ahead on SportsBit. Betting Insight today on SBRpicks.com.
Go to SBRodds.com. Browse, compare, and shop live odds available at top online sportsbooks.
Back on SportsBit, Betting Insight today. Time for Big Game Breakdown. Always sponsored and powered by BetOnline. Exceptional customer service. Strong promotions, every type of wager you want and looking for. Chiefs are 7 at home, 49.5 the total. Used to be an average quarterback with an average supporting cast. Not the case anymore because Alex Smith has playmakers and explosive players all over now with Hunt, Hill. They had Kelsey, but it's how they're using them as well. And, man, they found something special here with Hunt, who scores a 50-yard touchdown every single week. Game changer.
Yeah, sure. And, of course, it's not just the playmakers for KC. Kareem Hunt's going to get a lot of love. Hey, the guy's averaging, better than 8 yards per carry this season. He should be getting a lot of love. And, obviously, we've seen what Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce can do in terms of their playmaking ability in seasons past. With all of them together behind an offensive line that, guess what, it's pretty good. You know, I mean, you're talking about three playmakers with Pro Bowl potential. You know, a running back, wide receiver, and tight end. What more can you ask for an offense? Offensive line, what do they have? A first rounder, a couple of second rounders starting. It's a good looking unit. And look at this graphic. It's going to show you as clear as daylight. Kansas City offense in the Andy Reid / Alex Smith era. Look at it. Mediocre, 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 mediocre. Holy crap. They're averaging 7.1 yards per play. It's certainly something that jumps off the page. And admittedly, they haven't faced the toughest defenses yet. But 7.1 yards per play stands out when you're number one in the NFL in that category, Pauly. It really does.
Okay, was there a problem, though, when you do a deeper dive with the numbers?
Well, of course. You know, I mean, when you talk about the aggregate, and this is one reason, watch SportsBit. This is why you watch SportsBit. Okay? If you're going to look at Kansas City's aggregate numbers, their total offense is going to rank number 5. Their total defense is going to rank number 26. We don't use aggregate numbers with Kansas City. Why? Because of the style of play that the Chiefs play. They get a lot of quick strike touchdowns. They've done it throughout the Andy Reid era. They make big plays on special teams. They make big plays on defense. Through Andy Reid's first 4 seasons, opponents had 266 more snaps than Kansas City. So far this season, the snap count, opponents 211, KC 167. That's a plus 44 through 3 games. What does all that mean? It means that their aggregate stats aren't going to look as good as the yards per play stats. Yards per play on offense. Let's see, aggregate stats are number 5. No, yards per play, the number 1 offense in the NFL. Oh my God, the defense is number 26. No, it isn't. Yards per play defense, giving up 5.2 yards per play. That's number 15 in the NFL. This is a team that's only plus 85 in net yards. Not going to wow you, but clear number 1 by a wide margin in yards per play margin, Pauly. That's the stat that bettors should be paying attention to when it comes to Kansas City right now.
Very good. Well said there. On for the Redskins now. Their defense. Maybe the biggest leap we've seen in a while. Football Outsiders ranking. Last year, 26th. This year, 3rd. I wouldn't call it a fluke either because it just shut down the Raiders and held them to 130 yards. Manuski's a new defensive coordinator. Tom Sula is a new defensive line coach. They have 5 new starters. Swearinger brought attitude and a swagger. Jay Gruden, quote, "It's one thing being a vocal guy, but you have to back it up with production and sound play and know what you're talking about. I've had guys before that are talkers. They don't know what they're doing." Swearinger brings both. He brings an edge to him that rubs off on people. But now, listen, they lost a lot of weapons. Garcon left, Jackson left. Pryor and Crowder not getting it done either with the Redskins.
Yeah, and look, when we talk about this Redskins defense now, which ranks number 3 in the NFL through the first couple of weeks of the campaign, you say, all right, that's a little bit too much of an adjustment from where they were last year. It's looked good. All right, this defense has been able to get stops when they needed to most of the time. Now, some of that game against the Raiders, you want to put a little asterisk there, perhaps. Certainly, Oakland's offense didn't look right yesterday either. The national anthem, they were saying that there were some issues with the Raiders in that regard, and Oakland didn't bring their A game. But it's a defense that has stepped up and gotten the job done so far, I don't remember any of that from Washington's defense last year. But you're absolutely right about the issues with the passing game. Look, Cousins had a big game against the Raiders, but I'm not convinced that downfield passing issue has been solved. Look at the numbers right here. Look at the graphic. Deshaun Jackson, Pierre Garcon last year. 17.9 yards per catch, 13.2. Terrell Pryor and Jay Crowder this year not showing that same big play ability. And Kansas City's defense, not a defense that gives up a lot of big play touchdowns.
All right, up next, the deep dive, college football. Oh, my God, there were 3 horrific beats. We'll get to that. And it's always insane line movement when we're talking about college, especially the totals. Coming up on SportsBit, Betting Insight today on SBRPicks.com.
Research before you bet. Be sure to check out SBR Picks for the best game predictions, breakdowns, and much, much more.
Back on SportsBit, Betting Insight today, Pauly and Teddy. Time for the deep dive. Every month, this is how we do it. College football now. We start with bad beats. Oh, man. Vandy. I was watching this live. I couldn't believe it. Vandy plus 9. Less than 2 minutes left. 4th and 1. Vandy's out of timeouts. They're at the Vandy 39. McElwain tells the players, hey, if you break it, fall down. The kid breaks it, Malik Davis. He runs it in anyways. On the way back to the sideline, McElwain's like, why didn't you fall down? They win by 14. Unbelievable if you took the points with Vandy.
And that's a brutal beat. You get a handful of these, 1 or 2 of these every year where the coach even tells the kid, get the first down, hit the ground. Here's a quote from Jim McElwain. Quote, we'll get that handled. Well, not going to do you any good if you had a bet on Vandy. Vandy was a right side in that ball game. There was just under 2 minutes to play. 4th and 1 from the 39-yard line. This is a no-brainer. Unfortunately, that bad beat. What do we say? They happen, and this was one of them. Brutal. You had the Commodores plus the points.
Yeah, that was it. They get the first down. That's it. You take a knee, you run the clock out. The kid breaks it. How about this one?
Well, that's the thing. If someone can get hurt.
Under. Yeah, right. Cal, Oregon under, 68.5. It's 17-7 at the half. Herbert gets hurt, the Oregon quarterback. The backup gets hurt. The star running back Freeman gets hurt. No big deal. Third string quarterback's in. Both teams combined for 31 fourth quarter points. Game gets over by a hook. 45-24 final. You got to be kidding.
Yeah, it's freaking brutal. It doesn't get a whole lot brutaler than that. But what it does, but just a hook.
Yeah, right.
It ended 68.5, and it finishes 69. So the Ducks' 3 fourth quarter touchdown drives, they all came under a minute. 2 of them started inside the Cal 25, so it wasn't even like they had to march up and down the field. But when you lose your top 2 starting quarterbacks, your starting running back, your leading wide receiver, those games aren't supposed to go over the total, especially when there's only 24 at the half. Yeah, tough beat for under battles, although there weren't a ton of those for that ball game.
What was this? Coastal Carolina against Louisiana Monroe. Line dropped from 10.5 to 7.5. At least you caught a break because they didn't kick the extra point. If you got in early, it's 45-43 Monroe. Last play of the game, sack, fumble, scoop, and score. They win 51-43. Oh, come on.
Yeah, the only reason we're going to talk about Coastal Carolina here on SportsBit is if it's a brutal beat or there's some bizarre point spread circumstance. And here it is again. The line gets bet from 10.5 to 7.5. It ends up that Monroe wins by 8 because of the fumble 6 in the final play of the game. That's tough, man. That's a sucker punch. That's a gut punch at the end of the night. Although it wasn't, whatever. Bad beat for any of you who had Coastal Carolina plus the points.
All right, this is fun. As always on a Monday, there's some bad bets. I don't get the UCLA money. Bad offense. They're lucky they won the game. Bet up from 4.5 to 7.5. They won by 4. East Carolina money on that and the under. Plus 26 down to 22.5. Total 77.5 down to 73. South Florida routed them 61 to 31.
The East Carolina money baffles me. I mean, especially the under money. This is the worst defense in the nation. And when you're betting on the worst defense in the nation to do something against an up-tempo team with a bunch of playmakers, well, you end up with a 61-31 final. East Carolina, wrong. Under, wrong. UCLA, wrong. What about the Mississippi State money? Second straight week that we've seen big money towards Mississippi State. That line crashed on game day. Well, so did the bet. The Bulldogs plus 10 down to plus 7.5. Auburn wins easily 49-10.
Dan Mullen 2-16 against ranked teams. Got to be kidding me. Air Force pick 'em, bet up to 3. New Mexico beat them 56 to 38. Bob Davies terrific. Connecticut plus 21 down to 17, lost 49-28 against SMU. And this was done based on history. But Oklahoma State, Texas Tech total 81 up to 85, fell 75.
Yeah, hey, the Red Raiders defense is better than it's been. And Oklahoma State, the offense hasn't been in the same level of sync the last couple of weeks. Over money poured in, I should say, at the game, stayed double digits under the total.
All right, bad for the books. Friday night, it got up to a rough start. Utah State was a 3.5-point dog. They went off the favorite and beat BYU 40-24. Navy does it again. They start 4-0. They went up from 3 to 8 against Tulsa. They won by 10. And Georgia, we talked about those Tennessee issues, the infighting. Butch Jones has got to go. Georgia steamed up from 7 to 10, 41-0 Bulldogs. Tennessee shut out for the first time since '94. Peyton Manning was a freshman.
Yeah, I'm going to talk with Dave Mason in the deep dive like we do for Tuesday's show every week. I'm confident he's going to tell me that the Georgia-Tennessee game was the single worst game for the house on Saturday. That was a bloodbath for bookies. There wasn't any buyers on Tennessee. Didn't matter how high that line got. He talked about Utah State beating BYU, beating the 1-4 BYU Cougars, plus 6 turnover edge. BYU led that game comfortably early, led by 2 touchdowns, ended up losing by 16.
Well, this might be the worst team in college football. Last week, they were a 1-point dog at home to Utah State, and they lost 61-10. They went on the road here in Vegas. It was bet up from 10 to 17, 41-13 UNLV, and they took it easy on them in the second half. And Northern Illinois, a ton of money there, plus 13.5 down to 9.5. They lost, but they got the money. San Diego State won 34-28.
Yeah, I mean, and okay, you want to talk another bad beat that didn't make the bad beat section? And this is one I had in my pocket. That's why I'm talking about it. That UNLV San Jose State over. All right. You got 35-13 at the half. All right.
Yeah.
Total close, what, like 62? All right. Second half totals 30.5. So in-game totals at 78.5. Second half produces a grand total of 6 points. The last 2 drives, both teams ended on the opposing team's 1-yard line. You had missed field goals. You had turnovers in the end zone. It was a screw job. But San Jose State, they look pretty rough. And when you're getting blown out by Utah State and following that up, guy getting blown out by UNLV, expect a major market adjustment for the Spartans this week. They are dropping like a rock in the overall aggregate power rate.
Northern Illinois feisty, too. Good win for the Aztecs at home. I think they're going to go undefeated in a bad conference. Money time, play of the day. Back to Monday Night Football. What are we doing, Teddy?
Sure. Well, we had a rough run with the play of the days last week. Finally got off the schneid with the Saints yesterday. Let's keep it going tonight. Betting number 279-280. Kansas City, Washington. Chiefs and the Redskins under the total, 49.5, the prevailing number. This is where Kirk Cousins learns about life on the road against a good defense without Pierre Garçon and Deshaun Jackson. Take the Chiefs and the Redskins under 49.5. That's our play of the day.
All right, that's it. Back tomorrow. Good show. Playoffs are here. Play-in game. Twins, Yankees. Good matchup Thursday in the NFL. Patriots and the Buccaneers, and Dave Mason from Bet Online to recap how the books did. That's tomorrow on SportsBit. Betting Insight today on SPRPicks.com.